we have officially reached, I'm recording with all of the decks in the queue that I think are going to have cards banned in them. Stages of content creation. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Edison has asked me to play with a Pokimoki pile. This is a blue-white Blink or blue-white Riddler deck. At this point, if you're active in Legacy, you are probably used to seeing Quantum Riddler by now. It is a powerful card. For 2 mana, you draw a card, and then later for 5 mana, you draw another card. But if you happen to have 1 or fewer cards in your hand either one of those times, you're going to get 2 cards instead. And actually, that happens for any draw that you do. So Quantum Riddler can just absolutely be one of the best endgame ways to refuel and pull ahead as a control deck. It's a tough sell being a control deck in Legacy right now. The format is very fast, and there's a diverse range of things that you have to be respecting. So in addition to just the normal stock Force of Wills as interaction that we are used to seeing, you're going to see a lot more 1 mana interaction than you might be used to. Some of these are going to be permanent based, some of these are going to be attacking the stack. And while we are holding up that mana, we have some flash creatures that we can play. Containment Priest in the main deck is absolutely a statement to how good Reanimator is in the format right now, although you can also blink things out with Phelia while Containment Priest is in play, and they are never going to end up coming back. We've got a pretty wide range of tools here, and this deck is very much opting to play slightly overlapping answers rather than the best thing every single time. We cover more situations this way. Is Rest in Peace too slow versus some decks? Yes, absolutely. But Rest in Peace is such a hard hate card against a bunch of these decks that that's totally fine. And if you kind of survey the sideboard here, there's a very, very large focus on the graveyard right now. So before we get into the matches here, let me just say that today's video is sponsored by IntoTheAM.com. Whether it's short sleeves or long sleeves, I'm pretty much always wearing their stuff. It's super comfortable. All of these amazing designs that you see me wearing on this channel, often with like Japanese kind of anime style vibes, they come from this company. I'm really excited. I just got a bunch of their waffle tees that I'm going to be using as work shirts. So whether you want something cool as a gift or something practical for wearing around the house or at work, they've got it all. You can see some of their designs being made up above. Their Black Friday sale is coming up with up to 60% savings on a lot of their really, really cool stuff. So check that out. I've got a link down in the video description, or you can use promo code ThrabenU at checkout to save a little bit more. With that being said, let's battle. All right, my opening hand seems solid here. I've got a couple of different ways that I can open up this game. And as we get going here, let me do my other sponsored bit. This video is also sponsored by TOAMagic.com, my favorite place to buy cards from. Promo code ThrabenU saves you 5% on your order, and you always get free shipping as well. Those folks are great. If you're looking to buy cards as a gift for someone as we approach the holiday seasons, check them out. So we're potentially playing against either some... Ancient Tomb's a little spicy. Am I going to regret not Force of Negationing that over time? I really might. I think we're going to do this. I don't want Hasty Merit Lage being something that has to be on my radar the entire What a fucking punish. Alright. Hey, your attack doesn't do any good into my Tameo. I'm going to send on in, get my clue. Now, the good news is that as a deck with a gajillion D basic lands... Why did I do that? That was dumb. Anyway, as a deck with a gajillion D basic lands, Life from the Loam Wasteland is not a problem, but something like Life from the Loam Urza Saga could be. So given what I'm seeing here, my opponent might have like a small Green Sun package in their deck. That is Life from the Loam, just targeting a forest. That's fine. I'm going to go, yeah. force the action on this. Oh, no activation there. This is cool. Send it, trigger. We're going to blink to Teferi to change. I just win? That feels wrong. But okay. Tamiyo is a stupid Magic the Gathering card, I get it. Opponent says GG, unwinnable matchup. If you say so. Agree on the GG part. Unwinnable matchup. Unsure if I agree with that. How many... I have a singleton, Force of Negation. Okay.
My sideboarding is probably going to be a bit of a mess.
I think I'm okay with nuking all the graveyards at once. Prismatic Ending only goes up to 2, so it will miss some stuff. I think I'm on board with Wrath of the Skies. Let's assume that I answer things once they are in play for the most part. The sign doesn't seem the most necessary. It does stuff for sure. I do some number of Clarion Conqueror or Prismatic Ending. I don't know that I want to take the Narset out, but I also don't know that I want another. I need Wrath of the Skies if I also have Dress Down already for things like Urza Saga Construct tokens. Unclear. Let's just try that. Hopefully, if it is an unwinnable matchup as my opponent claims, it doesn't matter too much how I sideboard as long as I keep lands and spells. Does not have lands and spells. Instant mulligan has lands and spells. Instant keep. You can go back. I don't have anything to pair with you as of right now. And I think I'm fine. Nice. Oh, this is going to be so fucking good. Got Loam, though. Sphere. Sure. Seems good. In that case, I might want to use Meticulous Archive on turn 1 to Surveil, just to get a tapped land out of the way, so that I can do this on turn 3. Makes Wasteland better against me than it normally would be. We'll say no to Dress Down. I already have an answer to these tokens. There's the Wasteland. Okay, I am not getting Wastelanded, though. That is good news. Or am I? I am not getting Wastelanded. Sure. I'm fine pondering. Opponent is going to Crop Rotation, getting an Ancient Tomb. Alright. These are fine cards. I think I am okay just taking them. I have to keep in mind that I can still get Wastelanded off of this Meticulous Archive. My opponent very specifically wanted this Ancient Tomb for something, so I am assuming that this involves like multi-turn math around Sphere of Resistance. Oh my god, this Wrath of the Skies. 4 mana, 5 mana. Alright, it's the Tiller, so my opponent can play additional lands. That's fine. This is another thing that just gets wiped out by my Wrath of the Skies. The Wasteland is really annoying there. The Wasteland keeps me from doing everything immediately. I think I stacked this so Prismatic Ending is first, unfortunately. We would love swords to be available here. I did not play around Icetill Explorer coming in off of Mox Diamond and Ancient Tomb. So I probably just need to save some life here. So let's just take out this Construct token. And then over the next couple of turns, we can remove Icetill Explorer and sweep the board of constructs. It doesn't kill me. I'd kind of like to remove Icetill Explorer first. Oh, yikes. The milling that Icetill Explorer is doing will be neutered by Rest in Peace later. It's all just kind of how much time do I actually have. I know that Lava Spur Boots is something that I am facing down. There's Dark Depths as well. And Wasteland. Man, it's such a big difference between having access to Prismatic Ending this previous turn and Swords to Plowshares. Alright, do I die if I don't Wrath of the Skies? Counting this as 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 6/6s can attack me, and then I also eat 1 from Lava Spur Boots. So yes, I die if I don't cast Wrath of the Skies. Alright. So there's a Wrath of the Skies for 0. That takes out a lot of permanents. The bad news is they just come back from graveyard. And my opponent can get 3 lands back instantly. I have all the right tools. I'm just behind on time. And at some point, Thespian Stage can also just be milled here. Life from the Loam is not great for me. Second one comes down. It's another Urza Saga. Ugh. So now I think the way that I see this playing out is I need to play a Rest in Peace, and then I need to draw the other copy of Wrath of the Skies. And I can't really cantrip for it. I just have to naturally draw it. So there's the Rest in Peace. That answers the Life from the Loam and Ice Till Explorer problem at the same time. However, the rest of this is not great for me. It is another Sphere. That's still fine if I top deck exactly the card that I need. Dress Down is fine too. I'll take 2. So a Swords to Plowshares costs 3 mana. I guess I am swordsing 1 Urza Saga token and hoping to still be alive. So there's a friend. And then from here, there's a few different ways this can play out. In terms of my opponent just making multiple Urza Saga tokens, in terms of going for Lava Spur Boots equips. We'll see what they do. Pithing Needle is fine. Pithing Needle keeps me alive for a little while. On Teferi. Now there are just 2 more artifacts coming. There's a Mox Diamond. That's fine. Guarding a Sajiri. Then my opponent failed to find an artifact. They either have Lava Spur Boots in hand or have boarded it out. Okay, they have it in hand and have the mana to equip. You use that mana. I swords this. This goes down to 6. I still get hit for 8. I am dead. I think we win that one if I stack swords the other way. Swords and Prismatic Ending the other way. I don't know that it was correct to do that, but I think I win if I do it that way. All right, with Dress Downs and Wraths and Teferis and Back to Basics, I don't think I need Consign for Urza Saga. I could just choose not to Containment Priest. Just rationalizing that my Prismatic Endings are better removal in this matchup and that I don't really need these to beat down to win. Play like a Prismatic Ending. I like my Teferis here. Play more card advantage or play 1 Consign. I guess if I know that my opponent is bringing in Spheres, Consign is, like, totally reasonable. Could also Null Rod. This is a fine assortment of Magic the Gathering TM cards. I think I am fine starting here. I think that's replaceable. Opponent has Boseiju into Exploration. That's what I don't want to see. I'm fine if my opponent trades 1-for-1 on land drops with me. I don't like it when they get the Exploration as well. That keeps me behind curve on Rest in Peace. That's a fine draw. Let's keep my opponent from making multiple land drops. Ancient Tomb and Reclaimer. I can handle that a couple of different ways. I will probably just stop it from tutoring immediately, rather than throwing down Rest in Peace. All I want to do here is make it to the mid-game where my Riddlers and Phelia and Planeswalkers and Back to Basics can just take over the game. Crop Rotation resolves. Opponent needs mana fixing. This is play lands from graveyards. Yes, that's fine. That is okay. There's Rest in Peace. Now, Boseiju is a thing that is in their deck, so it's not like Rest in Peace will 100% of the time just stick around forever, but this is pretty good for me. There's a Dark Depths. Love a Swords to cover just a 2020 being made. Manually ticking down. You've got it. Azavith is fine. I now have Hardcast Force of Will available, and we're just staring at each other, which potentially favors me. Again, I would like to get to the point where Riddlers are online. I will cycle that at the end of my opponent's turn if they don't do anything that requires a response. Ticking down. But I want to cycle it in their second main phase, actually. Nah, I'll cycle end of turn. Yeah, draw a Wrath of the Skies. That doesn't do anything right now. I'm fine brainstorming. That will still leave Hardcast Force of Will as an option. I will just put these lands back into the deck and pass turn. Sacking Dress Down. Dark Depths continues to tick down manually. That's fine. I can answer that with Prismatic Ending and not use a true counterspell on it. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch in my upkeep. Yeah, we're picking up a basic island. Let's Prismatic Ending this out of existence. And pass turn. Dark Depths continues to tick down. Another Ancient Tomb. I think I'm not cycling Dress Down. I think I want to make sure that I have the ability to answer a Merit Lage token that is created at my end step. I am down for these cards. So bam, bam, and bam. There's a Teferi. Go ahead and Teferi plus for right now. And I've got a Swords available for a token that is produced with another one coming in a minute. Opponent can now tick that down twice. And with a Teferi in play, we don't have to worry about crop rotation style stuff anymore, either for protection or for assembling the combo. I want to cycle this and then bounce this kind of into that dirtle. I don't care about crop rotation right now because of Teferi. So yeah, all that swords. There's a land drop. We'll go ahead and Teferi minus on a dress down. Get a little deeper. How many basic islands do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5. So I can fetch another here. So I'm just making my land drop and passing the turn. On it not ticking down Dark Depths anymore. There's an Urza's Saga. That's not actually a problem. Like, I just have a dress down. I also have a Wrath of the Skies. So I will Teferi plus, make a land drop. I can just do this on their turn. Sorceries are instants. Yep. And again. Good stuff. So I can pay any amount of, I can gain any amount of energy and then pay separately. Sure. I guess I don't need to fetch with Yavimaya in play. That was a mistake. So I will gain 6, but pay 0. And then we can leave the other Wrath of the Skies stuff around for later. Yep, you've got your Merit Lage. That's fine. Well, I mean, you're ticking it closer. So we pay 0, destroy the Urza Sagas. I don't need to destroy this with Rest in Peace in play. All right, there's a Riddler. That is fantastic. I will make a land drop plus this. Am I fine to just play Riddler? Doesn't really do anything yet with double Maze of Ith in play. Yeah, I don't think I need to do anything with it yet. Next turn, I can Dirtle. I can play it then to Fairy Bounce it. Getting a little bit of Magic Online lag here. Alright, so opponent is going to go ahead and make their friend. I will answer their friend for 1 mana. There's a new Dark Depths. We can begin this fight all over again. We're gonna just start manually removing counters. You got it. Oh, there's Phelia. That's awesome. Let's just go ahead and plus. I'll play an end of my opponent's turn Phelia, and then do the Quantum Riddler Blink thing, and I imagine that will be the point where my opponent just gives up. Aww. I'll still make him play the game. Yeah. Another dress down. Yeah. I can just take this for a card and be perfectly fine with that, even if Phelia gets blinked. Alright, Phelia does get blinked. I'll draw my card. We'll make a land drop. I will minus on Quantum Riddler. Another Phelia. Sure. I think I will just go ahead and warp this one again immediately. A Wrath of the Skies. Sure thing. You can remove some ice counters. I also have lines where I like dress down Quantum Riddler as well. I just don't know that I want to use that mana. Maybe I had mana to dress down at my opponent's end step. I guess that makes the Phelia less interesting to bounce. Pithing Needle resolves. That's not a problem. Don't have a Teferi bounce active right now. I'm going to go ahead and just cycle one of these. Another land. I'll sacrifice that. I will play something that my opponent has to use some mana on. I'm drawing so many lands. Go to combat. Phelia gets bounced. Let's go. Bam and bam. I have energy saved up from before. Opponent will go ahead and remove some ice counters. We'll pay 1 to get rid of Pithing Needle. I will Teferi plus. Call it a turn. In the not too distant future, I can just play my Quantum Riddler out. Although I'm not doing a very good job of emptying my hand. The legendary creatures around Caracas, slightly awkward. I have 1 or 2 Tundras. If 2 Tundras, is a Tundra in exile already? Like, no. I don't know that I want to get wastelanded, though. These are just, like, perfectly good as colorless lands. Hey, there's a Brainstorm. Pass that and see where we end up going. Let's go, yeah. I guess I'm going to end up redrawing these unless I fetch the Tundra out. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we can start trying to work towards overwhelming a Caracas. So the thing that I now need to be careful of is probably just accidentally losing to Talon Gates of Madara, phasing out a Merit Lage token to protect it. Dark Depths at 1. There's Dark Depths. I think so I don't give my opponent 20 more life. I just answer it for 1 mana like this. Force of Vigor on Rest in Peace. No, I quite like my Rest in Peace. We'll hardcast this. That means that I'm not putting a Phelia in immediately. My opponent didn't leave Maze of Ith up, so I do get to attack them, so that's nice. So, Teferi plus, go to combat, send in for 4. Opponent's at 19. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cycle this. There's a new Swords. I'm just going to get cards out of my hand. Do this. Pass turn. Caracas is fine. That means Phelia now gets to come in and do Phelia things. Sure. Opponent just gets rid of a redundant Yavimaya. Yeah, and yeah. Cool, that's a great pickup. Go to combat, send in with both. Phelia trigger on Mox Diamond. I don't care if I get mazed. In fact, I'm just going to always yield to that. Teferi plus, play a Tamiyo. Phelia can return Mox Diamond, which just goes away. Phelia gets bounced, which is fine. I don't actually like super want to Brainstorm and transform this Tamiyo. I think I'm just going to hold Brainstorm and draw cards with blues. I will. I don't want to get to the third one, so I will just pass turn here. Oseiju a Rest in Peace. That does happen. We'll pick up a Tundra. Back to Basics is also a card that when I find it, this whole Maze of Ith thing doesn't work anymore. Life from Loam with no targets is fine. There's Phelia. Sure. Now let's go ahead and Teferi bounce that out of play. This is card draw number 2 for turn. Very nice. So 1, 2, and 3. There's back to Basics. I guess I should have attacked first. Send on in. I get mazed. And then I've got a full hand, so I don't necessarily need to do anything else here. Thespian's Stage. It'll probably be worth it for me to just Force of Will a Life from the Loam if my opponent casts it. And they don't. I'll draw 1 card now. Opponent says GG's, close game. GG's, I'm not sure close game. I think I was in control for the last 12 minutes. And it just takes me a while to actually close the door. Because my deck is very dirtily. Yeah. So now I'm hitting my opponent for damage. All their lands don't untap. We're good. I'll cast a Ponder, see if I find the other Riddler immediately. I do. I won't cast it. I'll draw Force of Will, and then I'll do it next turn. Just 0 chances of things slipping up. There's an Urza Saga. I don't even need to crack this. Let's be real. Fairy, bounce that out of play. Play a Riddler. Oh, I accidentally transformed the Tamiyo. Oh no. Yeah. Untransform Tamiyo. Hit opponent for 6. Make Phelia bigger. Discard a Tamiyo. Hey, it's Urza Saga again. The Fairy plus. Send in for the remaining 11 points of damage. Alright. We win. That brought me no joy, but we win. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say, that it's a snap. All right, opening hand has lands and spells. This is fine. I would like to surveil, but I think I'm just going to keep my mana steady for the first couple of turns in fear of Wasteland. Basic Swamp, Thoughtseize. Sure, I'll Brainstorm. I'm probably going to hide this Teferi. Or I could just put back a land. Yeah, let's put back a land, hide Teferi. You can take one of these 3 cards. They all kind of do the same thing, kind of. If I had any blink target for Phelia outside of just the Teferi, I think I would hide the Phelia instead. Yeah, and pass turn. So we're kind of hoping that this is just a fair creature matchup where my cards can just dominate over time. I don't think I play Teferi this turn. I think that gives my opponent an opportunity to resolve a Phelia, and it's bad for me. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and warp this, take some initial value out of it, not try to maximize with a Teferi bounce. If Bowmasters happens, if so, I've got that covered. Does not happen. I don't have Stern Scolding up, but I do have Swords up. Yeah, there's the Phelia that I was worried about. There's the Swords that I held up. We've got a thing chilling in Warp for later on. Surveil land. Opponent says no to a Witch Enchanter. Now I think I Teferi with Stern Scolding available. Let's get a basic plains here. Yeah. Saw it coming. Bam. Just Teferi plus here. The next turn I can do some Riddler crimes. Now, it's possible that my opponent could play 2 relevant cards here, but they are limited to sorcery speed. Ooh, that's very good. That gets to take a Riddler, but we are moving to the territory where the other Riddler is just very strong. Overlord. Returning Witch Enchanter. Maybe they have another Overlord that they need to cast. Well, found a Riddler anyway. So, Riddler. Ooh. Bounce Riddler. Force of Will is now online. I'll make a land drop. Pass the turn there. I've got Force of Will available as a pitch cast if my opponent does something gross that I care about. Which, given that Witch Enchanter was the pickup, I'm expecting a hard cast 5-drop this turn. Nope, they did not need the land or drew another one. A Flicker Wisp. That is a lot of value with Overlord. We'll just go ahead and say nope there. Excellent. Now we're in this mid-range portion of the game that is very favorable to us. That's an awkward draw. Yeah. I think I'm fine just casting this here, even if I don't get 2 cards off of it immediately. Sure. Now I could maybe ponder for a Force of Will or another removal spell or something. Brainstorm's okay. I don't really need the lands, though. Let's just shuffle. Consign can do some stuff. Let's see what my opponent's got going on. That is a Solitude. I am fine with that happening. This ticks down. I redraw that Caracas. I don't really want that. Now my cards don't line up super well with what's on board. This is awkward. Another Consign. There's a Teferi. I'll drop this and pass. It's possible I should just Teferi minus and not bounce anything. With Consign already in hand, I don't know that I need to do that. You can Surveil. I'm not going to use a Consign on that. Althea is fine. I will Prismatic Ending that. I would, in theory, like to answer this Overlord and not have to bounce it. That's a whole ordeal. Let's just plus for now. Fine using an ending at sorcery speed. Passing the turn with Force of Will and Consign available. Thoughtseize happens. I lose the force of will. This, I think, just becomes a creature now. Then hopefully I draw something that answers that. I don't. I could just
Not bounce it.
just plus consign the trigger. Give myself another turn. I think I am just going to bounce it, though. Minor misstep. I don't have anything that affects the board. Yeah, so I will consign that trigger. Now I can surveil and try to find something else to do. When it plays that Witch Enchanter from long ago as an actual land. There's Archive. I'm not looking for Force of Negation right now. I do not want counter spells. All right, let's find a Swords, please. Cameo is interesting. I think I am going to keep that Tameo. Play that Tameo. Teferi plus and pass turn. Oop, what on earth did I just do? That's annoying. I really wanted this consign for this trigger. It was kind of a big deal. Oh, I'm fucking stupid. I could have minor misstepped it. I was sitting there thinking, I want to play around a swords on this Tameo because I know I have Brainstorm coming. So I know that I have Brainstorm coming. I think I just do that. Opponent can't Solitude in response. And we're just chilling. Now I'll start here. Brainstorm. Nice. I guess we go put back 1 and 2. Transform Tameo. Plus Tameo. Plus Teferi. Pass turn. Swords Overlord. And see what my opponent wants to do. A new Overlord. Annoying. Opponent gets back Bowmasters. Casts Flicker Wisp. They're going to blink their Overlord. Are we seeing Bowmasters? We are seeing Bowmasters. The fairy gets pinged. Now we'll go to end step. All flash in Containment Priest. They don't get their Overlord. I will probably just Tameo minus here. Get back a Swords. Then Teferi plus. Pass turn there. I think my opponent has a Solitude from some time ago that can kind of mess with what I've got going on here. Evoked. Sure. We'll see how these attack. At Teferi, at Tameo, at Tameo. So I can't save Tameo. I can save Teferi. Suppose I will save Teferi. Wonder if I had a better way to play out the previous turn where I just Tameo plus again instead, so these can't attack my planeswalkers and just bounce. Yep. Did Overload return? Overlord returns a Flicker Wisp. Yeah, this is very good value for my opponent. Might be falling behind now. This is where I need a Riddler. There's Overlord. Just drowning. Back Solitude. So let's take something out of play. Do the Bowmasters so I don't take immediate damage. That's just another land. I think given that, I'm going to go ahead and concede to save time on clock. I think I had some better lines in this game, but some of my cards just did not line up well. Minor misstep, and consigns were just not active on board removal when I needed them to be. All right, Wrath is good. Sanctifier in Vec is good. I probably need the Rest in Peace style stuff, Introspective Overlord. Additional removal is fine. I might even think about Narset, honestly. I was not impressed with Minor Misstep. Do I need to be a Force of Will deck? You often don't want to be a Force of Will and Swords to Plowshares deck at the same time. I think I can get rid of Back to Basics. I'm going to get rid of Force of Negation for sure. My opponent has a bunch of sweet triggers. I'm not sure if consigns are actually good. It feels like a lot of times they rot in my hand awkwardly. I might try something like this. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything for the opposite reason. The 5-card hand is all in on this Tameo, and if this Tameo gets answered, I think I will just pretty much be conceding on the spot. I'm just going to, well, maybe it's that. I keep this for the potential upside. And let's Tameo. Marsh Flats? I just fully need this Tamiyo. Thoughtseize is fine. Now, if the top card of my deck would also be a land, that would be pretty fucking great. Goodbye, Phelia. Yeah, I'm going to see if the top card is a Tamiyo and then probably concede. My hand just doesn't do anything now. I'll see if my opponent starts doing a proactive game plan, but if they are hitting land drops and I don't, and they are doing things like Overlord, and I'm not doing Tamiyo or Riddler or Phelia, I think it's just worth conceding and saving my time. Yeah, the opponent can pick up a Douthie as, well, maybe they don't have the second black. They do take the Douthie. I'm gonna concede pretty quickly here, I think. But there might not be a threat immediately. That's annoying. I think I'm going to tap out of here. Every one of these rounds is going to take roughly an hour, and I already think that I have lost this one. GG. Opening hand is fine. I'm going to attempt to use this Ponder to secure future land drops, and I succeed at that. I'll stack like that, and call it a turn. Basic Island, Tamiyo. I don't have any answers to that right now. So I need to Force of Will that, so that card does not eat me alive. Fuck. Alright. I know my next card is a Brainstorm. I think I am just going to draw that Brainstorm and send that to exile. And hopefully I can answer Tamiyo next turn. Just Brainstorm into a Swords or Prismatic Ending. Opponent just passes the turn. There's a Dress Down. I'll drop this. Play Brainstorm. Completely miss on things that answer this card, which is real bad. I think we'll go bam and bam. Pass the turn. I might be doing a Dress Down just to stop Tamiyo from getting a clue. That will cut me off of Force of Will in the short term if I do. I think I'm gonna do it anyway. Now, sometimes this is a pseudo mirror, and my opponent gets to drop something gross and just keep a Quantum Riddler around for me doing this. So, we might be dealing with, like, Nadu. Yeah. If I don't counter this, Nadu could come down off of Cavern of Souls next turn. I hate everything. I think I have to ignore that line. I fully expect to lose this matchup. Well, there's a Teferi. Let's take a combo piece out of play and pass turn. The Tamiyo is not directly killing me, but this is pretty bad. Absolutely not. And it sucks that I have to address this Tamiyo or it will beat me. And this just lets my opponent resolve combo pieces. God damn it. Ugh. Anyway, I'm recording this video immediately and bumping this up to the top of the queue because I think Tamiyo is not going to be legal in Legacy as of next week. These are not healthy play patterns. Opponent fetches. Yeah. Just take a land out of deck here. Another fetch land already. I have all the fetch lands already. I think what is very likely to happen here is that my opponent now assembles their combo on the next turn. That misstep is not doing me any favors while I'm tapped out here. Yep. Opponent just gets back another Brainstorm, which means if I answer this Tamiyo, they can transform that one. That's a pretty big fuck up. Very grateful for that mistake. Opponent could have gotten a clue out of this as well. Now that said, I still think I am fully dead to what they have going on. Tamiyo pluses to 4. Land drop. There's a combo piece down under my minor misstep. And sign does stuff technically. This is not exciting for me. Consign does not answer that. Minor misstep does not answer that. Like, I can consign individual triggers, but we're dead. So we used Force of Will, blue card, Dress Down, Force of Will, and kind of Teferi as well, fighting over Tamiyo, and then lost to this stuff. I have some sideboard notes here. So for the Nadu matchup, which is the first time it's something that I have notes for, it says 2 Consign out, Force of Negation out, Teferi out, in 2 Wrath of the Skies, 1 Narset, 1 Clarion Conqueror, 1 Prismatic Ending, 1 Force of Will out as well. When these sideboard notes were written, there wasn't a second Prismatic Ending. I imagine Prismatic Ending is good. Do I want another one? Yeah, let's take out another Teferi and bring in another Prismatic Ending. And if we get confirmation that our opponent is on a breakfast build, we can consider adjusting sideboarding as well. 1 land is not going to do it for me. These are Magic the Gathering cards. I'm probably pitching one of these 2 cards and keeping my land. I could be greedier and get rid of Tundra. Let's be greedier. I would like to choose a win with back to basics if at all possible. Alright, Surveil Land means that I don't get a chance to use Minor Misstep immediately. Baracus is a thing. It lets me cast back to basics. That can resolve. Casting back to basics too early is like super awkward. My opponent can see it and play around it. There's Phelia. Yeah, you can swords this if you want. That's inconvenient for my back to basic purposes. Let's brainstorm immediately. Let's put this back. I wish this was a blue fetch land. And this back. Do this pass turn. I don't want to have to fetch a Tundra. I'm going to try not to counter that. Again, Cavernous Souls is a thing that can super punish me not going after an enabler. So I'm going to try to luck into another blue source for Narset. Baracus came back. Casting a back to basics here while these are untapped is very awkward. That said, I think I am still doing it. It's in play. Another basic land, unfortunately for me. There's Cephalid Illusionist. Also, unfortunately for me. Means I have to do that. Opponent forces back, and now we die to that combo. Yep, so I tried to do back to basics to plan for a longer game, and we got in the short term because of that. GG. Alright, we have lands and spells. We're fine keeping this hand. My opponent is on 6 cards, Dark Ritual immediately, and a Goyf. This works out well for our Swords to Plowshares deck. So, yeah. So we get a 2-for-1 with Swords to Plowshares, which is great. This was much scarier for us if that Dark Ritual went into a combo thing like a Doomsday. Voidwalker is fine. Wasteland is fine. Yeah, so the next time I get a removal spell, it will be another 2-for-1. I am going to Ponder. That's a Swords. I don't even think I take the Swords immediately. I think I leave the Swords on top to cast it next turn, take 3, and just have Force of Will available for something stupid. I don't think I'm in a hurry here. My opponent has used 2 Dark Rituals to power up creatures that I'm going to answer with 1 card. So this is fine. We have red as well. Sinkhole. Yeah, no, you don't get to destroy my lands. The Dress Down, better or worse than a Brainstorm? Dress Down can be bounced with Teferi. Yeah. And this could just be another turn where I don't even cast the Swords, despite the fact that I have it, and I just Teferi bounce Douthie. Just take that as Time Walk. I'm gonna play the land. No, I'll go ahead and just Swords immediately. This lets me Brainstorm if my opponent draws something like another Sinkhole. Douthie. That's fine. I'm going to leave myself the option to bounce this Dress Down. I think I'm going to be Teferi minusing and bouncing a Douthie. A wastelandable land. That's not overly exciting for me. Bounce a Douthie out of play. Cool, I make a land drop that is not wastelandable. Goodbye, Dress Down. So now I'm just reaching the portion of the game where I need to find something like a Quantum Riddler or a Phelia to get a bunch of value. I'm fine brainstorming in response to that because I don't expect anything else to happen this turn. I use 2 mana in the next turns. I use 1 mana in the next turn cycle to Swords this. That leaves me with 3.5 mana because of Tundra. I think I want Swords and Force of Negation immediately. I'll go bam bam. Let that resolve. Plus here. Swords that. Pass turn. My next draw isn't great. It's just that Tundra. Him to Turok. No. Turn that into a 1-for-1. Teferi goes up. I'm fine playing this land. If it allows me to hardcast a Force of Will, cool. If it trades with Wasteland so my opponent can't cast 3-drops, also cool. Yep. See? There's a Force. One could have played around this very easily. They are keeping their Wasteland. Or are they? They are keeping their Wasteland. Alright, fantastic. So now, this is the portion of the game where the Tamios and the Quantum Riddlers will absolutely start bullying my opponent. My opponent has a bunch of like Thought Seizes, Sinkholes, Dark Rituals that they can play that are going to be less good than the things that I am doing on average. There's Containment Priest. There's Teferi minus. Go to Punchies. Send on in. Trigger. Investigate. Blue token. Like so. Transform Tamio. Tamio plus. That lets me get back Swords to Plowshares next turn. And Sign probably not doing a lot right now. Another Wasteland. Sure. That's fine. Go to my turn. Prismatic Ending. That's almost good. Tamio minus on a Swords. Cast a Swords. Make a land drop. Go to Punchies for 2. 27. Douthie is fine. I'll hit that with Prismatic Ending, which I can go ahead and do right now because of Teferi. Blue and 1. Yeah. I think I have enough lands that if I get Wastelanded, it's not a big deal. Ponder is a fine pickup. Ponder just turns into some other card. We'll do our Planeswalker maintenance. Punchies for 2. 25. Ponder. Swords is fine. I think I will take Swords and shuffle the other cards. Your go. And my opponent gives it up there. That's totally fine. GG. So basically, as long as I make it out of the early game with my lands intact, I'm probably fine. Some of this consign, minor missteps, stern, scolding stuff is probably going to go. Sanctifier and Vex, Celestial Purge, Rest in Peace seem fine. Narset as card advantage is fine. Some number of Prismatic Endings or Wrath of the Skies are okay. I probably don't want to overload on that stuff, though. Back to Basics can probably go here as well. I don't think I'm overly excited about Dress Down. It can do some things that are cool versus an Orcish Bowmasters, though. I could also just say no to Containment Priest and give up the Phelia Blink combo. I think I'm okay with losing that. This seems like an okay assortment of magic cards. Sometimes I lose for keeping this. I don't have the basic lands that I would like. I don't have the counterspell that I would like. I'm going to try keeping. Thoughtseize is fine. My hand is relatively redundant. Swords is, I think, very clearly my best card. And my opponent agrees. Don't want to be drawing the expensive cards right now. A Hymn to Turok, that's fine. I lose expensive cards here. I think I'm surveilling. That is not a card, that is a land. We're going to get rid of that accordingly. That is a card that's a land. I'm fine doing this before Bowmaster becomes a thing. Alright, we've got some cool stuff coming. Put back this. I think I'm going to keep one. Well, I could put a land on top and then decide whether or not I want to draw it. Let's do that. I think there is a very good chance that I want that next land. Because Sinkholes and Wastelands destroy my lands right now. Opponent is making big moves. Him is fine. It's quite good. It's good enough that I should consider brainstorming Quantum Riddler away here. Quantum Riddler is the only card that I want to protect in this hand, though. That can just happen. Daggers. Nethergoyf is fine. So based on this, I now don't need this extra land. Up an island there. Oh, very nice. Now we'll grab a basic plains. Unless my opponent has a Pyroblast, this is resolving. That's some nice tempo for us, and then we can start doing Phelia Blink nonsense on the Teferi. Well, if the Teferi lives, right? Because opponent can Wasteland me, play a Goyf, attack this Teferi before Phelia, and blink it. There's a Nether Goyf with a floated mana for some reason. We have Bowmasters. Shoulder's Edict. Okay, cool. You are going to get to attack that for free anyway. So that's very favorable for me. Let's get Phelia online. Or at least leave open the possibility of it. I'm only taking 2 here. This is totally fine. We're chilling. Let's go ahead and cast this. Sometimes this eats another Shoulder's Edict or something. Fatal Push. Not immediately. Ooh. So there's Narset. Narset minus. Swords to Plowshares. Love that for me. Go to Punchies. Send in with Phelia. Blink Narset. Reset her loyalty. An opposition agent. Sure. I think I go ahead and swords that. Deal my 2. Opponent can't attack and kill Narset, and I leave myself with the possibility of keeping this combo alive. And when we get to my next turn, I have Wrath of the Skies, Nethergoyf. Maybe even get another creature. Ooh. Alright. Nice. So minus. Ooh, Rest in Peace is disgusting. I will take Rest in Peace here. So make land drop. Do Rest in Peace. Those have 0 power, and my opponent is very unlikely to be able to remove a Rest in Peace. And then I blink Narset. I don't even need to Wrath of the Skies anymore. Excellent. Love that for me. So Narset minus. Feels hard to lose with a Force of Will in hand. Yeah. Feels hard to lose with a Force of Will in hand. Send it. Trigger. Blink Narset. Opponent is on just gain 4 life for 1 black mana. Phelia is growing every time that I do this. This is an increasingly scary attacker. Bowmasters. My opponent's Hellbent. That's fine. I could also just, like, press down. Yeah, that's fine. Celestial Purge. Decent pickup. I'll take a new Force of Will. And pass turn. Opponent passes back as well. I will just keep accumulating cards with Narset. I'll take another Force of Will. Now I have 2 of those, and I can't be wastelanded off of them anymore. Game's over. It takes us a while to close out the game, but game's over. I think that's what I dislike about this deck. In a relatively fast... let's tap with these, I guess. In a relatively fast metagame, this deck is just so slow at actually ending things. All plus... Another land drop from my opponent. I don't think I need to cycle Dress Down or anything. There's a Force of Negation. I'll just Teferi plus until I get some more mana. At which point I can play Dress Down, bounce Dress Down, draw a couple cards. Or I could like end step Dress Down this turn. That seems fine. Drawing another Vista. Teferi minus on Dress Down. There's a Tamiyo. Tamiyo's great. Play a Tamiyo, play Caracas, but it gets wastelanded, so I'll just drop a Prismatic Vista, 7 in hand, pass the turn. There's another land drop for my opponent. There's a Snuff Out. I don't mind answering that as a 1-for-1. Opponent paid life for that instead of mana, so presumably something else is now coming. Nope, doesn't seem like it actually. Teferi plus. There's a Tundra. Go to combat. Tamiyo trigger. I don't really know why we're still playing this game. I don't know what my opponent is hoping to do here to come back from my 6 cards in hand plus Tamiyo Clue and their 0 creatures and Rest in Peace that they can't remove. You would like me to sacrifice a creature. I would not really like to do that. Tapped wrong. There's a Force of Will. Sure. You can have, yeah, like, what are we doing? GG's. All right, final round. I'm okay with casting this Ponder. Those are maybe not cards that I'm excited about. The Brainstorm is the best of them. I don't know that I want two of the three, unless I really want Force of Will to hedge against something bad happening. I think I'm looking for a Riddler with this cantrip, though. Eldrazi Temple, this Swords to Plowshares is going to be very good. Is it Glaring Fleshraker? It's Glaring Fleshraker. So, I'm kind of on board with end of my turn, dress down, buy time to make another land drop, get off some abilities, and then swords this another turn down the line. Yeah. Grab that basic, and dress down to remove these abilities. Force of Will is an okay card in theory, but I'm not super keen on losing my Quantum Riddler. That is another Glaring Fleshraker. And again, I'm going to try to keep this Quantum Riddler, so I'm not going to Force of Will that. Buy a dress down. I'm going to just turn this into a different card. Another Teferi. Sure. Then I will swords one of these. We're hoping for no Cavernous Souls. Force of Will a banger. And then start bouncing creatures out of play. Hopefully I don't regret trying to save Quantum Riddler. Glaring Fleshraker is a very scary Magic card. Alright, well, I'm not going to let my opponent have multiple of those at the same time. I'll lose a little life. This could be another 3 mana. There's not a third one, luckily. So I will take 2. Ooh. Can I take 2 more damage? I think I can take 2 more damage. That's just -4 mana for my opponent for every turn for the rest of the game. And I can potentially bounce Glaring Fleshraker out of play and make it unplayable. There's a Cavern, so my opponent gets 1 uncounterable spell. We didn't want it to be this one, because this is just so much damage. So I go to 11, then 10, then my opponent gets a large combat step as well. So I am taking 8 of my 10 life here, going to 2. I believe that I need to Teferi into a relevant card, because either one of these kills me right now. So yeah, Teferi minus, probably on the red one that is harder to recast. That doesn't do it. So I believe that I am dead. Unless my opponent decides to attack Teferi, which I don't think is correct. That's a colorless land. So now my opponent can see that the coast is clear to kill me, and if I tap out for this, they know that they can kill me. Okay. Come up just a little short there. Maybe I buy more time if I just give up the Quantum Riddler early on. Consign to Memory is great here as a colorless counterspell. Prismatic Endings and Wrath of the Skies cards kind of vary in how good they could be. Prismatic Ending not being able to make it up to 3 mana to kill Glaring Fleshraker is kind of a big deal. Glaring Conqueror does some things versus the Eldrazi spawns, but also shuts off my Planeswalkers, so I don't know about that. Minor Misstep can go for sure. Force of Negation can probably go. Containment Priest Phelia is really good endgame inevitability here. Gonna get a Wrath of the Skies. I want some number of things that can clear out problematic permanents like Chalices, Disruptor Flutes. This gives me Wrath ending Teferi, and Phelia Blink. That seems okay. These are fine. I'll want more mana over time, but given how flexible this is, I don't think I toss this back. Eldrazi Temple, a Spirit Guide. We're going aggro. Go to combat, at which point I'll just swords this, grabbing a basic plains, and then hopefully I am good to just start dirtling. I'm glad to hit another land drop. That's not the land that I would prefer. I really do want untapped mana. Alright, this is awkward. If I play Phelia just dies. But I guess that keeps my opponent from using their other modes of that card. So I am good with it. Well, yeah. Land drop 4. Land drop 4 is fine. So here's my Riddler, and this is where I expect Phelia to die. Yeah, that's fine. So now I will draw this, I will get my card, but my opponent doesn't end up with spawns. Eye of Ugin can mean that this turn is horrifying for me. Lotus Petal. We're just going straight up to 7 here. It's Kozilek's command. I would love for my opponent to pass the turn with a bunch of those in play, and maybe I eat them. I don't imagine that it goes that cleanly for me. That is 3 cards on top there. Alice is fine. I can sweep that up with a Wrath of the Skies. I think I'm not banking any bonus energy here. I think I want to leave a Dress Down available for the next turn. So let's just go ahead and Wrath of the Skies for 0. It will 1-for-1 with Chalice while clearing a bunch of spawns, which I am overall okay with. And then hopefully Dress Down gives us some amount of advantage versus a Glaring Fleshraker, Eldrazi Linebacker, Thought-Knot Seer, whatever. Yeah, so I think with that on the stack, I do go ahead and Dress Down. Draw Containment Priest, which is not doing me any favors right now. An opponent is passing the turn. I mean, yeah. I think I take that hit. 16. I don't think my cards are sticking here. I'm going to play them out, but I don't think this works. Now it works. Send them. Phelia trigger on Glaring Fleshraker. That gets blinked out. Opponent goes to 15. I think Dress Down is potentially very good. So here's going to be the Kozilek's command. Wow, opponent not trying to get their Glaring Fleshraker back. I think with Cavern, I do just go ahead and do this. And that's good enough for my opponent to concede. That felt like it was way easier than it should have been. My opponent put a couple of cards on top with an initial Kozilek's command, but then didn't go wild with swinging threats. I wonder if they topped some cards they should not have topped. So now on the draw, do I want additional answers to Calls of the Void, I think is the question. I like how Wrath of the Skies felt. Down like a ponder there or something. Oh, this is totally fine. My opponent also keeps their 7-card hand. Given that I have 3 1-drops in hand and otherwise can't answer this card right now, I will Force of Will. I think I ignore that for the moment and attempt to get Tamiyo going. Hope that the craziest Glaring Fleshraker things don't happen. Ooh, could be a Thought-Knot Seer. Opponent at 14 life already. That is Glaring Fleshraker with 1 floating. Lotus Petal. Go to 18. We don't want to see an Eldrazi Linebreaker here. That's an Eldrazi Linebreaker, unfortunately. This is a ton of damage. I've got a Swords, but I can't answer both of these creatures at the same time. I'm taking 6 from this. It does have Trample. That's not a it's fine, but it's definitely an it's happening. That's neat. Send it. I think I'm going to end up removing Eldrazi Linebreaker. And I think I need to be able to Force of Will something like a Kozilek's command here. Alice on 1. Alright. I go to 8. Not more things. Rough. So a creature enters, and then another creature enters. And then I go, yeah, need to do this, so Thought-Knot Seer does not get haste. Then the Thought-Knot Seer trigger does not actually take anything from me, but life's bad. The 2 Force of Wills that I have had to do to keep up with my opponent, you're late, has not left me in a good position. I think we are on batch and hit one of the remaining 3 copies of Swords to Plowshares. I think we'll go white. Maybe I need blue to consign and do something else at the same time. Draw, did not hit. Am very dead. We just got run over. We did put some wins on the board though. GG. Alrighty, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. This is a well-constructed deck that is not what I want to be doing in Legacy. I don't want to be the deck that drags things on and has to play these 12, 14 turn games. I want to be the deck that is ending the game quickly. This isn't a deck that is maxed out on Tamiyo, and I think if I'm playing Tamiyo, I want to be playing 4. This is a deck that has a bunch of situationally strong cards that are very awkward and don't do anything at the wrong time. And I think I want my cards to be as active as possible for the highest amount of time. Like, it is very clearly hedging against certain things in game 1 scenarios, but the result is that you have a bunch of cards that are bad at different stages of the game. And I just want to be playing good cards all the time. And I definitely felt like Consigns not having targets, Minor Missteps, and Stern Scaldings not having targets, Prismatic Ending not being able to be cast for a large enough value to remove threats, the 3-drops not being castable in opening hands. There's a bunch of powerful stuff that's going on here, but I'm not convinced that this is the best way to build a Quantum Riddler deck. Like, the deck isn't even on 4 Riddlers. I think I like the Riddler Ephemerate stuff more than this. I feel like it can come out of the gates more quickly and do something busted more consistently. But this is a good deck. It is just not for me. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day, folks. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great rest of the day. See ya.